Live is John Hope Bryant, founder, chairman, and chief executive officer of Operation Hope. Also CEO of Bryant Group Ventures, which is the company that I founded years ago when I was a teenager that ultimately helped me fund Operation Hope. So out of capitalism came philanthropy. So I'm the author also of How the Poor Can Save Capitalism, Rebuilding the Path to the Middle Class. This book, which is a bestseller and translated into 5 languages. I'm going to talk about that book in detail here today. I see you starting to sign in, so as you sign in, put your comments below, and I will respond to them. I'll try to acknowledge as many people as I can as you sign in. This is an important session today. Because I'm going to unpack communism, socialism, and capitalism as it relates to you. I first of all want to say my prayers are with the people of Great Britain. They made a decision today to remove themselves from the EU, European Union, and that decision is going to have ramifications for a long time to come. We don't know how that is going to unpack, but I do know this: you don't make yourself better by making yourself smaller. You don't make yourself better by removing yourself from others. You don't make yourself better by pushing away immigrants and pushing away migrants and pushing away those who are different. In fact, it was immigrants and migrants that had made Great Britain who she is. It was her growth around the world and her expansiveness around the world that made her a great power. And now she's trying to shut the doors and to close in. And the markets have already responded in a negative way today to the news. The guy who purported this in Britain is now toning down his rhetoric. See, people will say anything to get elected. Reminds you of somebody here in the United States. They'll say anything to get elected, to stoke your fears, to tell you that you were put out your pitchforks and go after the rich and all this kind of crap. But when they win, they don't have a plan. So this guy has gotten everybody all riled up. And now he's toning down the rhetoric in Britain, saying, wait a minute, let's slow down. We're still part of the world and all this kind of crap. But wait, no, you can't have it both ways. You can't be part of the world and say you want to be part of the leader of the European Union, a leader in union, but then you just voted and told everybody you want to be away from Europe. You want to be disconnected. You cannot have it both ways. So Britain, which I love, are going to be going through some changes for the next few years, and we should wish them well. Now, what you're going to start seeing is a flight to quality in the meantime, which means that interest rates are going to be lower, my prediction, here in the U.S. So if you want to buy a home, now's the time to do it. If you want to do anything that requires low interest rates, you got to the end of the year, and my guess is interest rates are going to stay low because the Fed's not going to want to raise interest rates, is my guess now. They were going to. Folks in China trying to bring their money to the U.S. because increasingly it's the only safe haven. But anyway, I've gotten macroeconomics. Let me come back to you and me. So there's a couple comments when people have been noting about this book. Why should we save capitalism? Why should the poor save? This is like when people have not read the book and there's a knee-jerk reaction. The one criticism people always rate, and I always know when they haven't read the book, why should poor people ever want to save capitalism? It's the dumbest. And okay, I'm back. See, I never give up. An entrepreneur works 18 hours a day to keep from getting a job. Right? So I don't give up. I'm back. I've got commercial grade internet in here, and still it manages to go down. Never, ever, 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 ever give up. So one of the dumbest things I hear, and I love criticism, right? It makes me better. I love constructive criticism. But a really dumb comment people make is, Why should people see the title of this book? Say, why should poor people want to save capitalism? You haven't read the book. I know you haven't read the book because it's a dumb thing to say. You're already saving capitalism. I'm sorry. You're living in capitalism and you're being taken advantage of it. Everybody's in capitalism. You've got a mortgage. You're in capitalism. You have a car note. You're in capitalism. You've got a job. You're in capitalism. You go to dinner. You're in capitalism. A capitalist. Oh, we hate capitalists. No, you don't. You got capitalists living next door to you. The barber is a capitalist. The dentist is a capitalist. The lady who owns a nail salon is a capitalist. The lady who does your hair, women, is a capitalist. All of these folks that live in around you, run these little small businesses, selling Avon or whatever to try to make a life, you're all living in capitalism, but you say that's what you hate. It's ridiculous. I'm going to do a whole thing about a whole topic on rich people. He said, we hate rich people. No, you don't. You hate rich people until you become rich, okay? What you hate is a game system. What you hate is a system that has been planted against you. What you hate is a system where the rules aren't published, the playing field's not level, where the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, and you can't figure it out. You never got the memo on free enterprise and capitalism. That's why I wrote the book. And so I'm going to unpack this mystery, and I want you to tell me whether you want me to do this. I'm going to read sections of this book over the summer in small pieces and unpack it like a couple paragraphs at a time and explain to you what I meant and what I mean by what I've written in this book. Do you like that idea? You let me know, and I'll respond accordingly. Let me tell you very quickly about two types of capitalism that are bad. There's bad capitalism and good capitalism, by the way, and good selfishness and bad selfishness. Good selfishness is where I benefit and you benefit more. Bad selfishness is where I benefit and you pay a price for it. Drug dealing is bad selfishness. Murder and mayhem for hire is bad selfishness. Taking advantage of you with subprime mortgages was bad selfishness. But me putting you into a home for 30 years and a reasonable mortgage is good selfishness. This brush, this is capitalism. Somebody made a brush so that you can comb your hair, brush your hair. This is a capitalist. And by the way, many of these investors were African American. So I'm gonna do a whole thing on African American inventors and Latino inventors and minority inventors. But this is capitalism. It's solving problems. And capital comes from the Latin root word, by the way, capitas, meaning knowledge in the head. Okay, so capital has nothing to do with money. Okay, I'm getting too deep. Okay, Kent Bacon, you're having some technical difficulties. You can watch it later. Fred Wilson, hello. Darius Clark, where can I get the book? You can get the book online. It's easy. Sai Fabonacci, great video today. Thank you. Andreas Vernando, you're the best. Thank you. William Travis Stagal, Lake Charles, Louisiana. Okay, let me get into this. I assume you think it's a decent idea for me to unpack this and just read, I think that means a yes, a couple paragraphs and explain what I mean by this. And I'm going to explain today communism, socialism, and capitalism and why I wrote this book. But let me get two types of bad capitalism examples. One was slavery, because of course that was human oppression. And that was capitalism, and that was disgusting, it was horrible, and of course it didn't last. In fact, the Civil War is really about the South resisting Northern economic domination based on a Southern economic model of free labor. Okay, free labor. And the other form of bad capitalism, so that was Europeans and others oppressing blacks. Another form of bad capitalism is gangster rap. Calling women bitches and hoes, calling you, saying life's all about money and gangster rap and running and gunning and shooting and just dumbing us down and making us feel that being dumb and stupid and ignorant and all about flowing and Rolls Royces they don't own and houses they don't own and making us feel like going to school is stupid when they had a college degree. The rappers telling you that education is stupid, have a college degree most of the times themselves. And telling you to be dumb and when they have worked to be smart. And all show business is show on business. Show on business. It's show business. So they're telling you to be dumb. This video. Okay, so I'm back. So let me jump into this. So we got Ellis, Marcus, Festus. The problem is we lost our love for reading, so we can't learn. You see these books sitting around here? I'm obsessed with reading, and you all know my quote I'm about to use now. In the last 20 years, we've made dumb sexy. We've dumbed down and celebrated it. And now we've got to make smart sexy again. And that means being obsessed with a book and reading. I'm going to do a whole piece on that, and I may do that tomorrow. So, you got bad capitalism, but you also so capitalism that's not bad. It's the love of money. It's not money that's bad. It's the love of money. It's the greed. Okay, here we go. Here's the first quote from this book, How the Poor Can Save Capitalism and Read. Jim Clifton, I love this guy, CEO of Gallup, who's on my board, records a prophetic book in the coming jobs war, which says that a planet of 7 billion people cannot be sustained with only 1.2 billion jobs. And that the very survival of humanity, rich and poor alike, depends on finding ways to mobilize, innovate, and generate another 1 billion or 2 billion jobs. Very important, okay? And jobs cannot be created by wars or by government. Jobs cannot be created by wars or by government. Jobs must somehow be evolved through the interaction of vision, need, energy, and a little greed. A little greed, not a lot. But greed alone only produces the wealth of the rich ruler who, after gathering his riches into the barns, was confronted with the realities that, quote, this night thy soul is required of thee, meaning God's not going to be happy with you. This is an Andrew Young quote, by the way, in my book. This book is pointing to a choice between judgment and jubilee. And I think Dr. King would be proud of this effort to inspire us to feed the hungry, clothe the naked, heal the sick, and set at liberty those who have been oppressed. And in the process to create and enjoy the abundance of life that the Bible promises for all of God's children. It's Ambassador Andrew Young about this book. Here's what Andrew Young said. Communism failed because it could not create a middle class. Capitalism originally succeeded because it did create a middle class. But capitalism has begun to fail because it is now not speaking to the least of these God's children. Quote, end quote. That's an Andrew Young quote. Here's what Dr. King said in 1968. You can't legislate goodness. You cannot pass a law to force someone to respect you. The only way to social justice in a capitalist country is economics and ownership. That was his Poor People's Campaign in 1968. Dr. King was pivoting toward money. I want to read one more page. Is it okay? I've never done this before. I never read online. I don't really just talk to you. Is it okay? Let me know here. We need mixed market economics. That's Arthur Field, Stephen James, Hidden Colors for just release. Jerobolel Judah, Claudia Almanza. Ooh, Dr. King was on point, yes. Felton Johnson, yeah. Does that mean go ahead and finish reading? I think it does. Does that mean yes? Yes, keep it coming. Okay. You see, I'm listening to you. All right. So I'm not going to read a lot. Read a little bit of a section. I'll break it down, and then we'll come to a close. All right. So from the book, How the Poor Can Save Capitalism, the introduction. This book is about saving America, all of America, not Black America or not Black folks or Asian or Latino or Native American folks. It's not about white folks. It's about all of us. As I make the case here, whether you are black, white, red, brown, or yellow, increasingly everyone wants to see some more green. U.S. currency, that is. You'll find after what's happened today with UK and the vote to separate from the European Union that even more people are going to want American currency. Dr. King said that the movement of his day and his age was intended to redeem the soul of America from the triple evils of war, racism, and poverty. Interestingly enough, Dr. King's work also was not about black people per se. African Americans just happened to be at the tip of the spear in that era of 1958. Dr. King and my mentor, Andrew Young, Ambassador Andrew not going anywhere. I'm still here. Ambassador Andrew Young genuinely thought that we make America better, stronger, more resilient, more valuable, and more valued when the nation has the benefit of everyone rowing in the waters of prosperity, dignity, and human aspiration. By 1968, Dr. King had turned his attention to the Poor People's Campaign. That's a quote I just gave you. And that involved and sought to engage the whole of America, every race. The reality is that there are more poor white people in America than poor anybody else. And that's what Donald Trump and others are playing on is this economic poverty of high school educated whites in rural America whose economics have fallen away from them 50 years ago with the Industrial Revolution. They're upset and they're pissed, and Donald Trump is pushing that button. It's fear, and it will fail long term. In the short term, war is not the answer. Here are answers. This book focuses on the challenges and, more importantly, the economic opportunity for America. Not opportunity for the 99% or the 1%, but opportunity for the 100% that make up the collective whole of our strength as a nation. By extension, I hope to inspire a generation of leaders here and around the world to act on things they might have thought previously unsolvable. Now, this book is meant to be bold. Okay, so you tell me whether you like this or not. If not, I'll just keep talking to you. I'm going to read one more paragraph, but tell me whether you like this approach or not. Here's the last line of this page, and then I'm going to give you the summary of the difference between these three economic theories. This book is meant to be bold, to turn so-called social and societal norms on their head. A radical movement of common sense. Now, here's the drop the mic moment. Let me be clear. This book is not about socialism. And it is definitely not about communism. Communism has failed completely, and socialism simply cannot work in the United States. Government has its place in our society, but we must all remember that 92% of all jobs in the U.S. come from the private sector, not from government. 92% of jobs in the U.S. come from the private sector. People like me who are entrepreneurs, and hopefully soon like you. Even China, a communist country, has chosen capitalism. Even Russia, a horrible communist country structure, has chosen capitalism. I have come to believe that capitalism is a horrible system, except for every other system. I've come to believe that capitalism is a horrible system, except for every other system, just like democracy, I might add. And no one has ever tried to make free enterprise and capitalism work for the poor and others left out and left behind at scale. This book is my attempt to do just that, to bring free enterprise and capitalism to you at scale, to unpack this memo. That's the name of my next book, by the way, to unpack the miracle of free enterprise, the positive aspects of capitalism, and how we can use it to unleash your creativity, to help set you free, to help you start your own business, to help you to monetize your ideas. All a patent is a monetized idea. And the largest economies in the world are the economies with the countries with the most patents. And those with no patents, one patent, are in civil unrest. Sudan, Haiti, the Middle East, Afghanistan. No patents, no creativity, no growth, no entrepreneurship. So where do jobs come from? Small businesses, entrepreneurs, and startups and shoot-ups in years 3 through year 7. And that's what's wrong with this country, and that's what's wrong in Britain, that's what's wrong around the world, is that we've lost our storyline, we've stalled, we've got more small businesses failing than small businesses giving birth, we've got nobody who are starting things from scratch, building up, growing that business, hiring people, giving them a raise as they do better, letting them participate in the stock portfolio of that company, and then once you do well, giving back to your community. Walmart with Sam Walton with a pickup truck in the storefront. That was it. Sam Walton with a pickup truck, and it's the biggest retailer in the world. Every big company was once a small one. So somebody who, I'm going to end where I started. Somebody who says that capitalism is stupid is stupid. Somebody who says, why should we want to save capitalism, is stupid. You're already saving capitalism, getting no credit for it. 70% of this economy is consumer spending. 70%. You are participating in it and getting nothing out of it because you don't understand it, and you're being pimped by it, and then feeling resentful because you're not participating in it. I want to help change that game. Civil rights is going to be in the suites, not the streets. It's going to be about class and poverty, not race and the color line. It's about lifting you up and empowering you as a participant, not treating you like a victim, patting you on the head and saying that you can't succeed because of racism. As I've said before, racism is like rain. It's either falling someplace or it's gathering. So you might as well get out an umbrella in the color you like and start strolling through it, because it's not going to change, so you must. All right, I'm pretty much done. I'm going to check a couple of the comments and questions. You have to tell me whether you like me reading from the book. I could also not read from the book and just cover a section and just talk to you. But if you like me reading from the book and then talking to you, let me know, and I'll either do it or don't do it for the next video. Darius Clark, how do we start our own business if they don't give us loans? You don't need a loan to start a business. I'm talking about the whole thing about where you get capital from. You can do crowdfunding. You can use your credit cards. You can use hustle. You know, there's a young man I put on my Facebook page who created a lawnmower innovation, and he is making a bunch of money on something he did basically out of his own hands. Stop thinking that the worst thing you can do is start a business with a loan. Now you have a short-term payment against long-term equity. The business is gonna take several years to pay off, but you have payments immediately. Stop thinking about getting a loan to start a business. And by the way, Bishop wants to join the conversation. Hey, Bishop, so you can say hello to my main man. All right, Arthur Fields, capitalism equals money making money, but McDonald's can get the capital to be a capitalist. But McDonald's started with a guy with an idea. I do know what I'm talking about. McDonald's was one guy with one store with no capital. He was a little immigrant, all right? I'm gonna unpack a lot of these stories so that you don't think that big businesses were always big. No, every big business was once some little idea. Ebony magazine, Jet magazine was a young black entrepreneur who borrowed $500 from his mother, all right? I borrowed $40 from my mother to start my first business. Thank you for the last video on investing money. I did some research on a few different stock options. That's France, Zentas, and bought some shares of Loyal 3. I'm not endorsing Loyal 3, but glad that it's working for you. Anthony says they love it. Monetizing our gifts. Trevisha Bible, Warren Paul, keep it going. Lewis Dixon, both. I guess they want me to read and talk. George, read more. Okay. Thank you. Donna Irving, that was great. Claudia Almanza, powerful. Yes, people, please continue to read from your books and explain. Makes sense, and I learned from this approach. Okay, I'll do that. Gwen Foster, Felton Johnson, very informative. Thanks a lot, as always, great. By the way, over 6 million views. There's one video that's approaching 1 million views by itself. This is Civil Rights, unbought, straight talk, nonpartisan. I'm not selling you nothing. If you want to buy the book, buy it. You want to buy the book, I don't care. I'm here to try to help you take your life back. All the services of Operation Hope are free, all of them. And I will tell you, while I'm proud of all the things that Operation Hope has done, is one thing personally I'm very proud of. I will try not to use I too much, but I am proud of this. I'm the only American in U.S. history that calls the federal government to change a building on the White House campus. That used to be the Treasury Annex building, is now called the Freedmen's Bank building. It's across from the White House and the Treasury Department. When you go to Washington, D.C., take your kids, take your nieces and nephews, go to Pennsylvania Avenue and ask what the Freedmen's Bank is and ask for a tour of this beautiful building. This is our story of 1865, former slaves who had a bank created for them by Lincoln and Frederick Douglass, who ran it to teach free slaves about money. And we're gonna finish that work with Hope Inside, Hope Business Box Academies, Product 5117. I'll explain that in one of the future videos. Love you. I'm out. Peace.